what's up, everybody? This is Mr. Hood. Welcome to another episode of Tech Talk with Mr. Hood. How to fix Windows 11 install. Now, this episode is geared towards hardware and people who actually are upgrading from Windows 10 to 11. Primarily PC, of course. No emulators or anything like that. But basically, October 5th, it came out and it's wreaking havoc on a lot of systems. And so I just wanted to dedicate this particular episode to that for hardware and specs. So one of the first things I wanted to mention is if you are going to upgrade or if you're going to sell a PC, one of the things that have come up recently is when you restore Windows 11 PC back to factory install, you may find the Windows old folder hanging around full of your old files. So you might want to, those who upgraded early to Windows 11, you also may report a slower drive speed, and that includes SSDs. And you can check Windows 11 requirement also about AMD. So there is a big issue with AMD processor versus Intel. So that's one of the main caveats, as well as stuttering with the audio. You may think it's a memory issue, but a lot of the stuttering in Windows 11 is from the upgrade. Now, one of the first issues that most people may have is Windows just won't let you upgrade, and you get a screen, which I'm about to show in a minute. Even though Windows 11 was launched, you're just not going to have an easy time installing unless you actually know what you're doing. A lot of requirements, a lot of new requirements have at least a gigahertz, 2 cores, 4 gigs of RAM, storage at least 64 gigs, UEFI secure boot, TPM 2.0, graphics with DirectX or later, WDDM 2.0 graphics card, display minimum of 720, 8 bits of color per channel. Display, greater than 9 inches diagonally, at least 8 bits of channel. Internet, Windows 11 Home requires internet connectivity. So with Windows 11, you're going to have the internet and a Microsoft account to complete the device setup on the first use. So this is with Windows 11. And there are a number of different issues or other things that can impede you from doing it. But to solve the problem, the first thing to do is just to verify that the PC you want to install meets the minimum requirements. Fastest way is just go to the Microsoft website. They got a PC Health Check app, Windows 11 website, and basically in layman's terms, however many cores you have depends on how many tasks simultaneously you can handle. Back in the day, single core CPUs weren't capable of multitasking. Instead, they would just quickly cycle and switch between priority tasks. Needless to say, it didn't make for a very smooth performance. This changed in 2005 with the release of the first ever commercial dual-core CPUs, which paved the way for other multi-core processors. It didn't take long for CPUs with 4, 6, 8, and more cores to hit the market over the coming decade. What is the CPU core? So if you take a look, think of the CPU core as a motor, an engine. It's the thing in your PC that gets hot, and that's what the cooling is all about. This is basically the engine, the motor that makes it run. The more cores, the more engines you have in your system, the more things that it can do. And so this is a microscopic representation. I mean, everything is very tiny. And as you can see here, this would be a visual representation of 4 cores, which would be here in the middle. And then you have your cache and then memory controller. This is all in the core, or the chip. To summarize, in 2022, quad cores would generally be really cut out for more like a budget bill, with a hex core, you're looking like a mid-range configuration, and the octa core, you're looking at a high-end PC or even more more cores. The more the better. And this is another illustration of a motherboard, and this is where the chip would go. The CPU socket, you would put it here, and this is a kind of a visual representation of a top-level view of a motherboard where the chip would actually go. And then this is the message, the notice that you would get if you try to do an update from Windows 10 to Windows 11 and you don't meet the minimum system requirements. This is what you're going to get. TPM 2.0 must be supported and enabled where the processor isn't currently supported. And so there's a list of processors, and if you don't have the right one, you're going to have some serious walls ahead in order to do the upgrade, or just going to roll it back. If your PC doesn't meet the requirements, you won't be able to install it unless it meets the minimum. And there are some other requirements as well, but the most restrictive ones are those which demand your PC, have a modern chip in it. It's a modern processor, basically. So if you're sitting with some old equipment that you've had for years, eventually what's happening is, technology has advanced at a rate that your chip that you have currently won't even handle the software that's coming out. And so that's why you need these TPM 2.0. And this is so Windows 11 will be more secure. And if you have a PC built within the last 5 and 10 years, and there's a high chance that you don't have TPM enabled, you can go to the BIOS though and switch it on. To find out, just reboot your PC, open the BIOS, and hunt around and see if there's a setting enabled TPM. If you can enable it, that might let you install Windows 11 with no trouble. But if you're still having issues and you need to, figure it out, I'm going to just give you the list right here, the 6 things that you can do. And if enough of you are interested, I can show you exactly how to do it. But right now, these are the steps. If you need to enable it, start it, hold down the F2, use the arrow keys, go to the security tab, find a listing for TPM, find a listing for Intel Platform Trust Technology or an AMD CPU FTM, and then just enable it. Hit F10, save and exit, and reboot, see if it works. Let me know